Hi/X/, I need some massive help right now. I have been a long time lurker on /X/ because I enjoy the Skinwalker stories and the like, but never posted anything because I've never seen anything worth pointing out. I don't know if this is as a result of reading too many Skinwalker stories and it has severely messed with my mind, but I think it's better if I just green text it, cause this is some shit I haven't seen on this board in my life. Be me. Crack a white dude. Living in rural Montana. In for herder you been playing too much Far Cry 5. Hope County isn't a real place anyway. I think. I live in a fairly mountainous area, a little town at the foot of some large unnamed hills that we all call mountains anyway. Now that I'm actually writing this up, I have to decide whether or not they're hills or mountains. You can do a proper hike up these, so I'm gonna call them mountains for the time being. So, I decide I'm going to do a hike up one of these mountains. I wasn't looking for trouble. It had actually been a few months since I'd been on /X/ at the time of doing this, so the idea of paranormal shit or Bigfoot or whatever didn't even cross my mind. We did get mountain lions and bears around, so I brought along some guns. Sidearm, a Raging Hornet revolver. I absolutely love this gun BTW guys, it uses .22 Hornet rounds. Go ask on /K/ if you need clarification. I'm much more active over there, which are like little rifle rounds, they go so goddamn fast, and as a bonus it comes with 8 rather than the standard 6 shots a revolver has. And proper firearm, I bring a .45 to 70 government lever action. Again, I bought this thing in my old days of lurking and I saw green texts where people fire big guns like Mosins at various cryptids and them bouncing, so I wanted a really big fucking gun. People hunt elephants with .45 to 70 governments. Anyway, I bring my tent. Probably not the smartest idea if there are bears and mountain lions, but light a fire and they'll keep their distance. Begin the hike, lever action over my right shoulder, tent and sleeping bag over the left, revolver in my waist holster. Decide to go alone because most of the other folks in my town are annoying Montanese, originally from CA but moved up here for better gun laws and cheaper housing. Hike for about 2 or 3 hours, still see absolutely nothing out of the ordinary. Am now innawoods for the first time in several years. Never actually been up here before, so I'm seeing everything completely new. Finally find a nice little plateau. Pretty much as idyllic as you can get, beautiful green grass, a lovely clean pond of blue and a stunning vista out over the town and the road to the next. Decide to pitch my tent here. Why not? I'm enjoying myself hugely at this point. Beautiful scenery, all alone. Guns, tent, tinder out for starting a fire. Feel kind of bad about burning the beautiful green grass, but quickly banish that notion from my head when I think about the mountain lions. Take my shoes off and dip them in the pond. It's cold, but not too cold. Crack. Crack. Turn around and draw the Raging Hornet. There's a bobcat sitting in one of the trees the other side of my tent. Never mind. Gif. Not too worried about it, bobcats are nasty but they're smart enough to steer well clear. Feel very chilled out. Wasn't actually thinking this at the time, but cryptids have a tendency to frighten wildlife, so the bobcat just proved that there was nothing here. Night falls. Start to build up this fire. I would like to line up some rock targets and plink them with the Raging Hornet, but it doesn't have a threaded barrel, so I can't get a silencer and I don't want to scare all the smaller wildlife away. This place is so nice. Fire is burning nicely, can see the entire plateau and can see the higher part of the mountain I plan to trek up tomorrow. I hear a crunch. I look to my right and see a glint of something reflecting the firelight. My hand goes to the gun but I don't draw it. Out of the trees walks an older dude, probably in his 40s, I'm 29 BTW, carrying a coach gun, broken at the breech over his arm. It was the gun that was glinting, it was pretty well polished. Need to get myself a coach gun someday, they're cool. Little confused, Nobody ever goes up here and there's a lot of mountain to cover if he's looking for me. None of the Montanesa would tell me why they don't go, but they never warned me against it. Wave over to him. Evening. And to you too, stranger. He replies. I gesture for him to sit down. I ask him what he's doing in the mountains. I live up here, I have a cabin on one of the other mountains. Says he's a hunter, travels all over the mountains each day looking for things. Says that he was out here today following a mountain lion. With a coach gun. OK.mp4. He has some beer, we drink for a while saying very little. Shotgun dude gets up and walks off randomly and disappears into the mountains again very quickly. Little did I know, that I had just encountered my first cryptid. It only occurred to me about now, but that guy didn't speak in a Montanesa accent, he had a Californian accent. Not just that, but now I actually recognize him. When I was a kid, he lived 2 doors down from me, lent my parents an axe to chop down some of the trees in our garden. Although, bear in mind that at the time I didn't remember him. I was a little spooked by this guy, but I had no reason to freak out. Other than this dude was trying to hunt a mountain lion with a 12 gauge loaded with probably 00 buck. Shells said 00 on them. Wake up in the morning after a pleasant night's sleep and start to see things being off. First thing I notice when I leave the tent is a mound of spent shotgun cartridges next to the embers of the fire, burned out in the night. There had been no firing in the night, 12 gauges are so loud you can hear them from across the mountain range. Also, the beautiful blue spring I had dipped my feet in the other day was now brown and dark. Again, this is the first time I've been on /x/4 months, so in the back of my mind, I had a little notion that maybe something paranormal is going on, but I ignored it and carried on. Began to pack up my tent, pulled all the rods out and shoved it back into the bag. Cycled all the rounds in the .45 to 70 just to be sure it still worked. MFW, it's a rust-proof gun, but I still check it all the time. Began to set off higher up the mountain. Internally debating whether it would be a good thing or a bad thing if I meet shotgun dude again. I'm not a hunter, so I make a lot of noise moving through the brush that's there, he will hear me coming. Eventually decide, what could possibly go wrong if I never see him again? Hike for another 2 hours or so, summit the mountain and begin heading down on the other side. The plan was to make it from where I started on the southernmost mountain to the foot of the northeast one where there was a train station back to town. Starting to regret not shooting the bobcat. I'm kinda hungry. BLAM 0_O.jpg. Tactically shit myself. Go prone and pull out lever action. That was the sounds of someone with a coach gun giving something both barrels. Thud. In front of me, landed the recently shot carcass of a mountain lion, bleeding from 2 large wounds, one on the hindquarters, one on the neck. What the hell is going on? Only thing I can possibly put this up to is shotgun dude hit it, but that's not what 2 shotgun hits with 00 buck look like. It looks like something bayonet this thing. I pull out my own bayonet. Oh yeah, I have a bayonet. I was going to put it on the lever action, but then I remember that it's a completely civilian gun and never supposed to have a bayonet on it. Hey. Shotgun dude. Are you there? I call out. The response I get sounds sort of like the cooing of a pigeon, but louder. Complete dead silence, no birds, nothing. Thoroughly spooked now. I use the bayonet to take the hind legs off the mountain lion. After watching Life of Boris cooking videos, I started using this thing as a huge cooking knife like he does. Decide to take them with me for when I next make camp. Continue hiking. Because I'm paranoid now, I decide to walk with the rifle in my hands instead of over my shoulder. Continue walking down the trail. Run into another trail of spent 00 buck shells. Start thinking this guy has hoarded a bunch of 00 buck shells and is dropping the everywhere to troll me. Totally on edge after the thing falling down on me. Looking everywhere for any sign of the guy. Suddenly, Out of nowhere I am hit by the horrible smell. This is when it started to dawn on me exactly what was going on with this guy. As I said, I've been lurking on /x/ for a while, so I know exactly what the smell of blood and burnt copper means. Work the action one time and reload the shell. It's somewhat comforting and makes a rather menacing noise. Round the corner and see a figure about 30 feet in front of me. It's Shotgun Dude. He has his back to me. Shotgun nowhere to be seen. Clothes somewhat ragged. At the time, I didn't exactly get what was going on. I assumed that this guy had got hit by a skinwalker and was about to go ape on me. Spoilers, that's not what was going on at all. Decide to do what I wanted to do if I was ever in a 4chan Greentext. Take the initiative. Hey. You. Put your hands up over your head and turn around slowly. Shotgun Dude begins heaving. Looking's kinda like he's either laughing a really deep laugh or has just crawled out of drowning and is retching up water. No vomit, no laughing noise either. I raise my .45 to 70 and give him a warning just over his head. Or, that's what I was supposed to do. What actually happened was a loud crack, almost as loud as the sound of the rifle shot. Shotgun Dude falls to the ground. When he gets up, it's not Shotgun Dude. It's still wearing jeans like Shotgun Dude was, but no shirt, a very hairy almost woolly chest. And, a goat head. A goat head, with one of the horns cut in two, because I'd shot off one of its horns. The goatman got up and scrambled away up the rocks. I went to pick up the shattered horn. It was about 7 inches long and hollow. I would have kept it as a trophy, but alas things didn't go so well. I imagine this is probably what made those holes in the mountain lion. Keep on the trail. The smell faded when the goatman ran away. Keep my rifle shouldered at all times. I've seen enough Greentexts to know that they don't always have the stink right there with them. Decide that if I make it through this, I'm going to knight myself for bravery. Load up another .45 to 70 round. By now, it's still faster to continue my journey over the mountains and get to the train station rather than turn back. Double time it over the mountains, decide not to stop until late afternoon, by which point I've made it more or less to the summit. Find another plateau that I can camp out on. I don't want to pitch a tent though. I want somewhere I can get my back up against a wall so that the goatman can't come up behind me. That's what I find, a little rocky ridge about 2 to 3 meters high, overhangs just a little bit. No chance of anything climbing over it, and even if they did, they'd land in front of me instead of on top of me. Roll out my sleeping bag on the rocky ground. Collect some wood and start a fire to cook the mountain lion legs. Honestly, I had expected something more out of the trip, but all the animals must have been scared away by the cryptids. Starving by the time I've cooked the legs all the way through. Never tasted mountain lion before, actually tastes kinda good. Night falls. I'm sleeping with my back up against the rocks, the rifle on my lap and the revolver in my hand. I can't sleep. Too much adrenaline in my system for it to be able to shut down and effect repairs. After a couple of hours of being completely 100% awake, I see it. A pair of pinpricks of light on the other side of the plateau. I immediately shoulder the rifle and fire at it. Hear an ungodly screech, the likes of which I cannot compare. Shit, I understand completely what the Greentexts are talking about now that I'm in one. The pinpricks disappear. It was at this point that I made a fatal mistake. I got up to look. I slung the rifle over my shoulder and instead held the raging hornet in my hand for better precision at close range. Creep over slowly, feel like I'm doing a Minecraft crouch. Get to the ridge where the eyes were peering over. See a splatter of some liquid that I assumed was blood. Nothing there at all, no corpse. Make my way back towards the sleeping bag. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. GIF. 2 pinpricks of light open above the sleeping bag. I am so completely terrified that I can't move. The creature lifts itself out of the sleeping bag. It's tall, about 7 or 8 feet tall, its head is about 2 feet tall. Completely pale white, naked. Jaw extends outwards. Long spindly legs and arms. Letting out a blood-curdling howl, this thing charges straight for me. I fire 1 shot. Bang. Click. 2 shots. Bang. Click. 3 shots. Bang. Click. Then, it's upon me. The thing grabs my gun arm. Opens its mouth even wider, wide enough to straight up eat my head. The smell is disgusting, blood and copper turned up so badly. I was so sure this was the end. I make a kick for it, and hit it right in the crotch. No reaction. Continues getting closer to eating my head. I suddenly hear the one thing I never expected I would hear in my life, especially not now. Ree. A piercing screech, from my left. In an instant, the goatman pierces the creature's side with its one remaining horn. The creature bellows with the fury of 1,000 suns and drops me. I have no idea why, but the goatman, which earlier today I had shot at and wounded, jumped into battle to defend me. Both cryptids screeched like crazed peeps. It was so deafening, it made the sound of gunshots seem like the popping of popcorn in a microwave. I pick up my raging hornet from where I dropped it and empty the last 5 shots into the ungodly creature as I run away. All 5 shots hit, all 5 bleed, but the creature doesn't flinch and continues to wrestle with the goatman. Neither side was giving an inch. The goatman's horn was about 3 inches deep into the creature, dripping with blood. The creature's arms were on the goatman's shoulders trying to push it to the ground. Despite being at least 3 feet taller than the goatman, it was having limited success. Abandon the tent, abandon the sleeping bag, abandon the goatman's horn. Fuck it. I'm not endangering my life over those material objects that I can get more of later. Except for the goatman horn, but googling it later you couldn't tell it apart from a regular goat horn. Run as fast as I can down the trail without risk of injuring myself. I can still hear the ungodly screeching of the dying animals locked in battle to the death behind me. Open the raging hornet, spin the cylinder as I practice to empty all the shells and begin loading up the .22 Hornet rounds again as I run. I ran all night until I made it to the foot of the mountain. The sounds of demonic battle had almost faded into the background. By the time I made it to the train station, I was exhausted, starving, sweating, and thirsty. Collapsed on the platform before I could board a train. In the morning, I awoke in the station office with the manager having dragged me into the office and planted me on a futon. My temperature was up, my face was white and my shoulders and arms were covered in cuts where rocks and leaves had cut them as I rushed away. My memory is super hazy about running away. Just after reloading my gun, a few flashes of crashing through bushes and tree branches. Then, at the foot of the mountain, then at the train station, then waking up in the office with a warm cup of coffee. The station manager asks me what the hell happened. I told him I was attacked by a pair of mountain lions, shot one and ran away from the other. Tells me I shouldn't run from big cats, ignore him. Get next train back home and collapse exhausted. I phoned my family and told them about it. My parents don't believe me. My sister, who is also a lurker, told me to post it here and ask for advice. It's taken me the last 3 days to put together a coherent green text from the memory of it. I at the very least hope someone gets some enjoyment out of it. Thank you for listening to my rambling/x/.